Story 6, The Prospectors. The crows flew across the sky, and Gerda found herself wandering along a rocky path. As she walked, the air became frosty cold, and she knew she was getting closer to her destination, the Snow Queen's castle. She was tired but determined to find Kai and bring him home. She stopped by a stream, cupping her hands to take a couple of long drinks of the cold, icy water. She noticed something from the corner of her eye and looked up to see an old caribou walk out from the field next to her. He tentatively moved to Gerda, who reached her hand to him. He shyly allowed her to pet his muzzle.
You look scared. It's okay, I'm a bit scared too. But look, there's water. You can take a drink too.
The caribou relaxed a bit and then leaned in and began to drink. Gerda heard voices coming from the field, and before she had a chance to stand to look, the caribou tensed and looked her in the eyes.
Hide! Now, hide!
Gerda looked around her. There was nowhere to hide. The stream on one side and the field on the other, the rocky path was suddenly gone. Gerda stood her ground and held her stick in front of her. It was her only protection. A group of unruly young people marched through the field toward her. They wore mismatched clothes, some too big, some too small, and they were followed by a woman wearing a thick brown fur coat, top hat, and rubber boots. She held the hand of a girl about Gerda's age who looked like a smaller, younger version of the woman. They all stopped to look at Gerda. The little girl broke free of the woman's arm and ran toward the caribou. As she passed Gerda, she yanked the stick from her hands and stood over the caribou, stick threatening him menacingly.
Hey, look! What do we have here?
It looks like a princess.
A princess? We could hold her for ransom.
And get us some money.
And get us some food. Wait. If she's a princess, where's her crown?
Maybe she's not a princess. Maybe she's a thief, trying to steal our gold.
We haven't found any gold, because she's stolen it all from the river.
Where's our gold, Missy? What did you do with all our gold?
I don't have any gold. I'm just passing through here on my way north.
You? Going north? All by your lonesome? Sure.
Well, if she ain't a princess and she ain't a thief, then what are we gonna do with her?
Eat her! I want to get her eat.
Wait! I want her.
Oh, our little sister is hungry too. Well, you can't have the whole thing. How's about an arm?
Or a leg.
No, I don't want to eat her. I want to keep her as a pet.
What?
You heard me. I want to keep her as a pet.
The Prospector brothers thought this was the most ridiculous thing they'd ever heard their little sister say. But Gerda was encouraged that someone was no longer looking at her as their lunch. The woman marched over to the group and yelled,
Stop! Nobody is eating anyone. Girl, you have plenty of pets. What you want another one for, eh? You got rats and fleas and fish, and you have that old caribou over there.
But I don't want any of my other pets anymore. I want that girl. I want her to play with, and she can do my work for me, and I can dress her up, and we can play. Mom, I want her. Give it to me now,
All right, enough. Just stop making that noise. You can have the girl, but you can't keep both the girl and the caribou. You'll have to choose one or the other. By the morning, either the girl goes or the caribou. We ain't had much luck with the gold in the river, and the boys are getting hungry. Got it? Sorry, boys. We'll have to find something else to eat.
Then what are we gonna eat?
This feller looks tasty.
The prospectors chased each other across the field, followed by their mother waving her arms and yelling, and they all disappeared out of sight. Gerda stayed where she was and looked at the girl, who was now circling her and holding the stick as a sword.
Now, ain't I gonna have fun with you? Look at you, all scared and dirty. With you, I can play anything I want. And just to make sure you don't run away, I know just the thing to keep you here. I've had lots of pets, and usually they get eaten when the food runs out. Oh, but don't worry, you're different. Old caribou, you're not my favorite pet anymore. Guess they'll be eating you next week, seeing as I don't need you anymore. Look at him. We stole him from a camp just south of here. He's a good pet. Watch this. Come. I said come. Ha! Now beg. I said beg. I'm sure we can teach you the same things right fast.
Gerda had never met a more nasty person. She wasn't afraid of her, but knew that if she said or did the wrong thing, it would be hard to escape. She had to wait for the right moment. The girl scowled at Gerda. Gerda looked her in the eye and said,
I have to find Kai.
What? What's that you say? You can speak?
I have to find Kai.
What's a Kai?
He's my best friend. I have to find him.
Oh, you don't need Kai anymore. You have me.
Kai needs me.
Well, I need you too, so you're staying with me. Now, what am I gonna name you?
I have a name.
You do ya? What is it?
Gerda.
That's a foolish name.
What is your name?
My name? My name is Girl, 'cause everybody else is a boy.
You mean your mother didn't give you a proper name?
Yeah, my mother didn't need to give me a proper name. I'm a girl, so they call me Girl. You got a problem with that? It's getting dark, and it's gonna get cold tonight, so we have to sleep. See, tomorrow's an important day. They say if they don't find any gold in that river by tomorrow, we're gonna have to find another camp and rob them. So lie down and go to sleep.
But I'm not tired. I have to leave.
Just sleep.
The girl held the stick out at Gerda, who knew not to argue, so she laid her head down and closed her eyes, but just enough to look asleep so she could still see. She saw the girl lie down in a little ball, and when she heard her start to breathe calmly, she knew she was asleep. Gerda rolled over to look at the caribou who was still standing next to the stream, too weak to move.
You poor caribou. You don't deserve this. We can escape together. Except if we run into the field, we may encounter those mean boys again. I hope no one has hurt Kai. I hope he is safe wherever he is now.
Kai is alive!
Pardon me?
Kai is alive! I have seen him!
You have? Where?
Days ago, before I was captured, I was feeding on the patches of grass that grow as far north as they can, and I felt a breeze, a strange breeze unlike any other, just over my head. I looked up, and there was the most beautiful white chariot, pulled by tremendous white birds with snow falling all around it, like a swarm of bees. And within the snow I saw two figures, a woman with a crown of ice, with long fingers holding the reins of the chariot, and next to her sat a boy, a young boy, with a red vest. He was asleep but looked almost frozen, as if he was made of ice, of stone.
That was Kai. Kai wears a red vest. You saw him. Where? How do I find him?
The chariot blew north, towards the top of the world.
I have to go there. You must help me.
I am trapped, as are you.
But Kai is the most important person in my life. He is my best friend. I've traveled such a great distance already to find him. I can't let this be the end. He's alive. You saw him yourself. I must find him. I must.
What's this all about, eh?
Gerda turned to see the girl standing behind her. She must have been there for a while, as she no longer wore the scowl she had, but seemed intrigued by the story she was hearing.
My friend Kai, your caribou, he saw him.
I liked the story you told. It's a good story. But is it true?
It is true.
Can I trust you?
All I want to do is find my friend.
Then there's a reason that I found you and kept you as a pet, so you could meet my caribou. Yes, this is a good story, and it can't end here. Your Kai, he means this much to you?
Yes, he does.
Caribou, take this Gerda to her Kai, but then you must come back to me.
I will return to you.
Now watch out for yourselves. I'll turn you both into rugs. But I'm keeping your stick. I like it, and no one ever gives me anything. I don't even have a real name.
No one should be without a name. I can give you a name. Violet, after the flower I met at the beginning of my journey. The violet thinks she is cold and no one wants to be her friend, but in fact, the violet is one of the most beautiful flowers on the inside and the out. You have shown me kindness and given me hope. That makes you beautiful in my eyes.
Violet. I like that. Violet. Thank you, Gerda. My mother told me that if you travel this tundra to the north, just where the grass and the trees stop growing, there's a woman who lives on the sea. Her name is Sedna. She protects travelers who have gone too far and helps them find their way home. She might be able to help you and find your friend. Caribou, take Gerda to where the ice floe and the trees end. And back to me.
Violet ran off into the field, waving her new stick through the tall, yellowed grass. Gerda looked at the old caribou, who seemed to have magically become stronger. He stood tall and strong, and crouched down to allow Gerda to climb onto his back. They crossed the stream and headed north across the rocky terrain, and they didn't stop until the trees disappeared, and all the land was covered in snow and ice. They came to a channel of water that was icy cold, but not quite frozen. Gerda ran as fast as she could and jumped over the water onto an ice floe. She looked back at the old caribou, who by now looked tired and forlorn. Gerda called out to him through the wind.
Caribou, come on, you can do it. Jump. We're almost there. You told me so. Come on, do it. You have to bring me to the Mother of the North. She is the only person who can lead me to the Snow Queen.
I cannot. The ice is too slippery for my old bones. I must return to Violet.
But I can't do this without you. You promised.
You must go on alone, Gerda. You are brave. You can find your way. Continue along this ice floe and you will find Sedna, Mother of the Sea. Goodbye, Gerda.
As the ice floe traveled along the water, Gerda watched as the caribou turned and headed back the way he came. Soon he was just a speck on the horizon, and then he was gone. Gerda stood on the ice floe cold and frustrated. She had come so far, and now she was alone on her travels. She spent a few moments feeling sad, even letting a few tears roll down her cheeks. But then she looked up and saw the lights in the sky, and straight ahead she saw a little figure covered in thick furs sitting on an icy raft. Gerda hopped from growler to growler and finally reached this mysterious person, shrouded in furs, surrounded by old pieces of bone, knives, harpoons, bright fishing nets, and smooth rocks. Gerda leaned down and gently touched the shoulder, and from under the furs she saw two eyes looking out at her.
I've been waiting for you.